Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, what we're going to be covering is shallow poaching, another cooking technique. It's a moist heat cooking technique. What we're going to be using is halibut. I got a beautiful piece, 6 ounces, the other day. Halibut's a firm white fish with mild flavor. The taste is similar to that of tilapia, but it's thicker and firmer than cod. Halibut is more expensive than cod, and the flesh is thicker and firmer than cod as well. Turbo and flounder are good substitutes. They belong to the flatfish family. It pairs well with bolder seasonings like pesto, lemon, or dill. It's a good source of protein and potassium. Some Alaskan halibuts have reached almost 500 pounds. Another reason why people like halibut is that it's lower in fat and one of the least fatty fish that you can buy on the market right now, and it's one of the best tasting. It works well with grilling or frying. Also, we're going to do some shallow poaching today. What it calls for is the fish being submerged in a liquid about halfway up its sides. When that's done, flavorings are added. A cartouche, C-A-R-T-O-U-C-H-E, is put on top. That holds in all the flavor and also the steam as well as the fish is cooking. Okay, let's just go over some of the ingredients that we're going to be using today. What I have is a white wine, some more veg stock. Now for the sauce, I'm going to have some lime juice, lemongrass, ginger, and a shallot and green onions. And also a little coconut milk and some dried cilantro. So let's first look at our pot that we're going to be using. It's just a chartreuse pot. It has butter on the bottom. That's going to keep our product from sticking. Okay, so what we're going to first do is load it up with our flavorings. What we have here are some green onions that I've kind of rough chopped that are just going to go in. What's going to happen, these things are going to be strained out, so they're not really going to be used for any type of garnish. All right, I'm going to put in some lime juice. It's about a tablespoon of lime juice. I have a fresh piece of ginger here. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to rough chop this. Once again, it's going to be used just for flavor. It's not going to be used for any garnish. So all I'm going to do is just get the skin off. Don't forget to rinse your ginger as well. You want to always, in these days and times, rinse everything, okay? So I'm just going to thinly slice the ginger. And this also is going to be added to the shallow poaching pot. Next, we have some lemongrass. It's a really hard root. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this guy in half and just bruise it just a little bit to get some of those oils rotating and get them out and get them into the sauce. So these are going to be added as well. And now a shallot is going to be added. I'm probably, since this is a real large shallot, it's only one portion, so I'm not going to need a whole shallot for the project. So what I'm gonna do is get the skin off here and then peel. Okay, so now we're going to dice. So the shallots are going to go in as well. We have some vegetable stock. And a splash of white wine. Okay. That's all we're basically going to need. Now, we're going to salt and pepper our fish. Now it's going to be placed inside our shallow poaching liquid. And now what we're going to do, we're going to make our cartouche. Parchment paper is just folded in half. We're going to make our pyramid. So now, just in case this brings back memories, we have our jet airliner. But what we're going to do, we're going to continue this on. We're going to fold these down twice. We're going to get half the distance of our pan. Tear off the unwanted paper, as you see. And now what we've done is we've got a beautiful cartouche. Now what we want to do, before we put on top, we want to add just a little butter so the paper does not stick to the fish. Okay. Okay, we're going to put the cartouche right on top of our fish and right inside the pan. And we're going to start our process. Now, what you want to do is bring this to a simmer on top of the stove, and it can be finished in the oven as well. Or what we're going to do today is we're just going to leave it on top and finish it right on top. So we're just going to let this guy go. So while we're waiting, right here I've got a couple of potatoes we're going to use for our starch today. They look like they're about done. So we're going to turn them off. So let's get with our garnish. First I have a green onion here. I'm just going to cut the ends off. Now what we're going to do, we're just going to shave our green onion. I know some of you guys have seen me do this in class, but what we want to do is just shave this so we get some real nice thin pieces. And now you see we have just one piece of halibut, so we're not going to need any more than this. So what I've done is I've got a little ice water here, and I got my little bit of watercress that's here. What we're going to do, we're just going to add this. What it's going to do is shock the green onion and put a little curl on it, which makes it a little bit more eye appealing. So we get all our onion in there. We may not need it all, but we'll reserve that for another day. Now, usually when you make shallow poaching process, you're going to use the poaching liquid as the sauce base, but you're going to need a thickener. What we're going to do is we're going to make what's called a bain-marie. Okay, so what it is basically just some softened butter. You're going to mix with flour until the flour is absorbed into the butter. What this is going to do is, what this beurre meunier is going to do is it's going to help thicken the sauce. Once again, we're just going to peel off a couple of pieces of this. If we don't need it all, we could put it in our refrigerator and save it for another time. As you can see, our shallow poaching is just going along just fine. Okay, we want to get it to a nice, little slow simmer. It's going to be in there for about 6-7 minutes. Okay, and we should have a nicely done fish. So what's going to happen is it's probably going to come off at approximately 137 degrees. What we're going to do is we're going to put it in our warm oven, finish it in the warm oven. While we're finishing the fish in the oven, then we're going to make our sauce. And for our sauce, I've got once again, some cilantro, a little coconut milk, and then we're going to add our beurre meunier with a little salt and pepper. So during the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to take our potatoes, pour the water off. Now I've got some blanched green beans, a little butter. Just going to warm those up until we're almost ready and everything's going to meet at the same time. I'm just going to add a little salt and pepper. Okay, so when we're ready for those, we're just going to turn the fire on and get a little blast of heat just to heat them up. They're already cooked, okay? The beans have been blanched, shocked, and the potatoes have been slowly blanched in simmering salted water. So I can feel my halibut. It's almost there. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the fire off. We're going to take our cartouche off. Now I've got a warm oven that's prepared just to keep this guy warm. We don't want to keep on cooking. Look at that, beautiful. All the way from Alaska. So now we're just going to keep in the warm spot. Now, what we're going to do for our sauce, we're going to strain it off. Keep the heat going. We're going to add our cilantro. About a teaspoon of cilantro. Maybe not that, about a half a teaspoon. Okay. 1 tablespoon of your coconut milk. Okay, don't forget to date your products so you know when you opened them up. Just because you're home, don't forget what you learned. Okay, we're going to give this just a little stir. So we're almost ready for this sauce. What we're looking for is what's called a reduction. What's going to happen is the liquid is going to go down by at least 1/2. Also, we're going to put our beurre meunier in there to help thicken it up, to help speed up the process just a little bit. It's always good to get a nice reduction so you get all those flavors really, really concentrated. Now you see we're starting to get a nice little roll going here. Remember, before we add a starch to a liquid, we want our liquid at least 141 degrees. So that way the starch molecules will start to act inside the liquid. Okay, we'll add a little bit of our beurre meunier. A little bit at a time. As I mentioned before, if you don't need all of this, you could save it and use it for another sauce or a soup. So we're going to let this roll just for a little bit. We want to see where we are for flavoring. So we're almost there. Also, what we're trying to do is give this sauce a little chance to cook the starchiness of the flour out of the taste. And this is probably all the beurre meunier I'm going to use. You see, look at the sauce, how it's bubbling. Nice reductions going on right now. Okay, we're almost finished. So now we want to finish this off. What we're going to do, we'll add a little salt and pepper. If you look at all those bubbles around the side, that's telling you you're reducing nicely. Okay, we're almost at sauce consistency. What we're going to do, we're going to get our nice warm plate out of the oven, along with our halibut. So now we're going to put our halibut down. So you can see how the sauce coats the spoon. Okay, you don't want it really any thicker than that. Halibut has a real nice, delicate flavor, so you don't want to put a real big, heavy sauce on it. So what we're going to do, we're going to put our sauce around this plate. Now I've got my potato and beans here. Our green beans. Now, put just a little watercress on the fish. Some of our green onion. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, here we have our shallow submerged halibut with a lemongrass and lime and lemongrass reduction, steamed potatoes and green beans. Thank you very much.